break them. I'm a Hall of Fame legend, they should go and hang my jersey. Made to put in work, I don't think they really heard me like. Move the chains, I'm about to make a play. Move the chains, tell them get up out the way. Move the chains, I'm about to win the game. Move the chains, baby, tell them move the chains. Ain't no stopping me, ain't no topping me, I am up. Number one seed, ain't nobody popping up. Got a squad of gorillas from the jungle suited up. You kicking off against me, hope you ready, get it up. I be booted up, popping out a sprinter or a truck. Whole team chasing bags while they chasing us. Calling audible, I read the game, I think it's time to switch. You get hit if I miss, then my teammates got the blitz, yeah. Move the chains, I'm about to make a play. Move the chains, tell them get up out the way. Move the chains, I'm about to win the game. Move the chains, baby, tell them move the chains. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Okay. 30,000 in the pocket, no change. Okay. I might pass the ball, but this is no game. Okay. All my girls, they love and hate me the same. Okay. So when I die, I ain't gonna be.
All right, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Minnesota Vikings and the Houston Texans. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line.
Let's go now. 18 Gator. He getting me. He's not gonna get me. Slam. Protein spill. Deep.
Play action. It's Stidham. Oh, he got position on him, and he pulls it in. It'll go as a gain of 25 on a play that started back at the 25. And I guess, Charles, sometimes when you have a receiver well over 6 foot, you do that. Just put it up there, let him grab it, and he did.
And it certainly appears like a 50-50 ball, right? We always talk about that when both sides have a chance to get it, the receiver or the guy covering him. But I think the odds actually are in favor of the offense. They can see the ball coming oftentimes before the defender can get his head around. So I think that really goes to like 70-30, and they should be able to go up and get it most of the time.
And he got it there. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Stidham now off the bootleg. He'll let this go for the end zone. Almost able to intercept it. That's one he would have liked to have held on to on this first drive. Instead, second down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 as they line up, 2nd and 10. Here's Stidham to throw. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete. He was looking for Adam Thielen there, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Defensively here, you're facing a top-5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL, so when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20-point score gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
Yeah, I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace. J.J. Watt makes another tackle there, and it's for a minimal gain. And let's face it, if that's all you're going to get running the ball, you're not going to have much success against him and his team.
Or, yeah, you better find a way to go around J.J. Watt, which isn't easy to do.
It's really not, because you got to try everything. Can you go around him? Can you go by him? Can you influence him to get him out of position so maybe you can wall him off? He's a really sharp, intelligent player, as well as a physical specimen.
And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
So not quite a first down just yet as they come up on second and less than a yard.
Whip. 93, 52, 93, 44.
Passing, it's Dalton. He's got Smith here. And he'll be brought down right around the 37. 2 yards, good enough for a first.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
Yeah, that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
First and 10 at the 35-yard line.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up first and 10 at the 35-yard line.
2-by-2. Move. Here you go. 93, 52, 93, 44.
Dalton here from the gun. Airing one out for Boyd. And that is incomplete. Took a shot there on first down, but he couldn't reel it in.
Tremendous field position there and a perfect time to do exactly what they did. Take a shot at the end zone. And they went for the big play, just unable to complete it.
Here's second and 10 now from the 35.
Watch the screen, watch the screen. Watch the screen.
Dalton with a give here to Mixon. Second down, a little more productive than first. 7 yards on the gain. It gets him to 3rd and 3 now.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
Hands up. Lead. Coming to you. Here you go. 368. Mike 55.
They look to throw on third with Dalton. He gets this in the hands of Mixon. And he's able to get the first here as he's taken down at the 25. A third down gain of 3 yards, and that'll be enough.
First and 10 at the 25-yard line.
Lead. Mike 54. Mike 54. I don't think you got it, son. Hands up.
Mixon with a first down carry. Tackle made that time by Anthony Barr.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
I'm coming for you, son. I'm coming for you, son.
On second and 9, Dalton. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, third down.
That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
Regular. Mike 55, Mike 55.
Third down, a shot here for Dalton. Flushed out right. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
Well, it certainly appears that they're going to try and keep getting him the football. It's the third time they've looked in his direction. Unfortunately, haven't completed one yet, but I'm not sure they're going to shy away from him. They feel like they've got something there, and they want to capitalize on it.
I think you're right. We're only in the first quarter, so a lot of opportunities ahead. So a return of serve, so to speak, here on the second drive of our game as they respond to that opening field goal with 3 of their own.
I like that. Going a little tennis on me.
I know you. You like to mix it up with sports.
They crack a forehand back at him. They get a backhand. What was the return on?
It was a backhand. And a really good backhand.
With some nice top spin on the whole thing. I love it. Almost a mirror image when you really get down to it. I thought that was pretty good stuff.
Down.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you've met fan bases that wanted that, that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick other than the extra point. That's it.
On second down, Cook. And he's going to be brought down by the face mask. Here come the flags. This is going to get him a first down. Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
Now Stidham. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's second down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
Check three. X3, 218, chop. Buzz. Check pass. Get.
Off the play fake. Here's Stidham. And this is incomplete. He was trying to get it to Hakeem Butler there. And that takes us from 2nd to 3rd down.
He kind of forced that one there, didn't he? It's almost like he predetermined where he was going to go with the football.
Yeah, he wasn't really going through progressions. He wanted to go to his top guy. You do that against this defense, they'll make you pay, won't they?
Yeah, they certainly will. They react very quickly to the thrown football.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. J.J. Watt, he's the culprit, and that is now his 13th sack of the season as his great year continues. He was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. He's going to field this at the 4. 3-3, a tight one after one on EA Sports. Ready for the second quarter from Houston. It's the Texans in possession of the football as they've got it with a 1st and 10. Here's Joe Mixon as they start on the ground. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. 15 yards, the Texans pick up the first down. His first carry of their second drive, pretty solid. And, of course, remember back to their first drive, really strong throughout that one.
Not only is he getting good blocking up front, but how about his vision to find the holes? And he's seeing things before they even open and hurdling through them.
And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage.
Let's go, deep, tighten up.
On 2nd and 11 now. Dalton. He's got a first down and then some at midfield. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings' 44-yard line.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, tight, sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl it a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion. Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete. Will Fuller was the intended target, and it's 2nd down.
Mike. Ladies.
Now Joe Mixon. They get 6 here after the incompletion, and it'll leave them with a 3rd and 4.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. They'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
An extra defender in the secondary for the Vikings here on 3rd down. From the gun, Dalton looks to throw. And that is incomplete. More problems here on 3rd down. They've converted only once so far in this first half.
And you know as well as I do in this league, If you don't win on third down, it makes it hard to win a ball game because then you're relying on your defense, you're relying on your special teams. You've got to get it done with your offensive unit.
The kick by Fairbairn is good. And they will take the lead here in this battle of field goals at 6-3. These kickers now, it's like we take them for granted. Kicks like that used to be such a big deal, and now you just expect them to make it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and we shouldn't take them for granted, but I have a theory about it. You want to hear it?
Yep.
They are more athletic now than ever before. Talk about kickers. Trace their backgrounds, trace their histories. You'll find that they were big-time athletes all along, but their kicking was so prevalent that we made them specialists.
And now those 50-plus yarders seem easy for some reason. Here's a run on first down that doesn't accomplish anything. In fact, he's going to be tackled behind the line for a loss of 1. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
At the 20-yard line.
Here we go. 30 base.
Watch tight. Tight end right. Watch tight.
Deep grip.
On 2nd down, here's Stidham. And his throw here's incomplete. He was looking for his tight end there, Kyle Rudolph. And it's 3rd down. By the way, I got to apologize because I just realized for about the last 4 or 5 plays, I'm eking over into your territory up here in the booth. My bad. I'm going to get back over to my spot.
Yeah, we're not talking about our on-air commentary. I mean, what is all this extra paper? I mean, this is unusual for you.
My bad.
Normally you run a really tight ship. What's going on here?
Just like that incomplete pass, I'm going to try to tighten things up here for this next play. And now it's the punter Weil on as he sends this one away. This is fielded at the 27. A great return there of 22 yards. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted. And we can't do that. That's a long...
And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. Will Fuller, his 11th touchdown of the year. And the Texans are able to show off their quick strike ability. Fairbairn good with the extra point. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And it's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3 points, CD.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to finish these drives in end zones, not having balls go through goalposts.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Now Cook running right. And a cut to the right and some open field here. And all the way down to the 29. And they will finally get him to the ground at the Texans' 29-yard line. Terrific run from one of the fastest backs in the game today. A guy who keeps defensive coordinators up at night, no doubt.
Remember when we were meeting with the D coordinator before the game and all he talked about was run fits, making sure our guys were in the right place so there were no creases?
They missed their fits, didn't they?
Yeah, there was no fit there. The only fit was at the end when he threw his headset down after that big run.
They make a good bit of that yardage back as they're set up in much better shape now for 2nd and goal. A quick throw taken in by Diggs. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. Stephon Diggs. Touchdown number 15 of the year. As they are now just an extra point away from making this a 3-point game. Extra point up and good by Bailey. And the lead down to 3 at 13-10. This is fielded a couple yards deep. They'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. And following that long touchdown pass, a one-play drive last time, to see if the defense, you know they're ready. They don't want that to happen again.
And you would have thought they would have been ready the last time. That's what you work on all the time. Make sure that no one gets behind you. That's the cardinal sin of defense, not giving up the long pass. They did. Let's see how they adjust.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8.
Get that 368!
Andy Dalton. And it's complete. He gets this one to Washington. And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. Past the 20. Touchdown, Houston. James Washington, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Texans are able to show off their quick strike ability. And sometimes those slants, they can be so tough to defend after the catch. It just happens so quickly.
And really, what gets set up there is how quickly everything happened. Ball's out of the hands of the passer in a hurry, and he just takes it and goes.
And he went all the way into the end zone. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line.
The Vikings take over 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2-minute. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22. They go play action now. Stidham. That's caught by the tight end, Irv Smith Jr. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll join Jonathan Coachman and the gang in Orlando. Coach will have stats and scores from the early games going on here around the NFL. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Dalvin Cook with his 16th touchdown of the year, as they are now just an extra point away from making this a 3-point game. Bailey got the extra point, and that will shave one more off this lead. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll make it across the 20, as his guys will set up shop at the 23-yard line. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And Charles, the way touchdowns have come so fast and furious for both sides of this thing, it's starting to feel a little bit more like maybe a tennis match in a football game.
Yeah, I like your description there. Maybe we're sitting in a nice royal box watching this type of a game. But let's face it, right now, the way it's going back and forth, it's going to come down to who can get a stop.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Out of the gun, it's Dalton. Complete to Washington. And they work this well upfield across the 45. That one covers 24 yards. It's a first down. So in the second quarter, he's already up over 100 yards receiving now.
And isn't 100 the magic number for a really good game for a receiver? So he got a chance to really shatter that and have a profound effect on this game.
Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. 2nd and 12 after the first down pass play went backwards for 2 yards. And Dalton to throw. It's complete to Fuller. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. Now the Texans will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts, as the clock will stop with 45 seconds to go in the first half.
1st and 10 at the 35-yard line.
Andy Dalton now closing in on a 200-yard first half through the air. It's 1st and 10. Another chance for Dalton. He completes it to Boyd. Give him 9 there on the first down completion. That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. And again, Andy Dalton to throw. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by the Pro Bowler, Anthony Barr. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half.
They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 8-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Time here for likely a couple plays if they want it, but with the field position what it is, maybe better suited to just sit on this one?
I'm with you totally. I would sit on it and get into the locker room and start over. But if they do decide to try and make a play, we know what the basics are. You run draw, you run screen. I would maybe run a little swing pass and try and get my lineman out in space and see if they can chop a hole into the secondary and see if he can run a little bit.
And this will probably be the last play of the quarter. Now Cook, he's got it off the draw. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here. And that's going to leave him with just one timeout remaining still in the third quarter. We'll see if that comes back to haunt him. We'll be back. Thank you, sir. A field goal separates these two teams as we come back for this second half. It's been a shootout so far. We'll see which defense can make the adjustments as we get back underway in the second half. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they'll go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
We'll see if they do just that. One play has them to the 37 here for 1st and 10.
All day, defense, all day, all day.
Now they run with Mixon. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. It'll be a loss of 1, and it'll be 2nd and 11.
Brings up 2nd and 11 at the 36-yard line.
Hands up. Lead. Check Mike 54. 2-2. Move.
From the gun, Dalton. Complete. Smith has it. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 35. Nice completion there for Andy Dalton. Charles, you worked some of his games when he was at TCU. Now you've worked his games in the NFL. What progression have you seen?
I've seen a guy who took over as a freshman in college and got better and better each year. Always added a little bit more to his game, gets stronger. But the best part about him is he's always been accurate.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. A loss of 2 there, 2nd down.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
On 2nd down, here's Mixon. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2, now 3rd down.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case, and that play got bottled up.
And this one complete to Smith. And he's going to get this to the 31, but that is still well short of what he needed. It'll be a gain of 8, but it'll also lead to a 4th down.
So much about this game is just understanding situations and then having to execute, isn't it? Guard the first down sticks. Don't let them get there. And they rallied and made the tackle.
So 3 field goals that he's hit now. This last one helps him stretch out the lead.
He's been solid, hasn't he? And he lives up to the adage that every offensive coach has ever said to us. We want to end every possession with a kick, right? For them, it's either extra point, field goal, or at worst, a punt. In this case, it's been 3s.
The Vikings take over first and 10 at their own 24-yard line.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second half?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
From up near the 40 now after the big play to start, here's another 1st and 10. Now Stidham on first down. And Rudolph has it, the tight end. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
And, partner, I think that was a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
6 guys. Hey, echo.
Play action. It's Stidham. Lets it fly for Thielen. And this is going to wind up incomplete. The coverage there too strong on the deep ball, and now they face a 3rd down. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
Well, that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that, and thus far they've been successful.
Now a shot taken on 3rd down, but it's going to wind up incomplete. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense has spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip away at his timing.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had a field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Mixon. It's Everson Griffin who made the tackle.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
Drop deep, drop deep.
Nice.
Right there. 54. Right
From the 41, Dalton. They'll tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. And this is going to turn into another 1st down as the tackle is made at the Vikings' 45-yard line. Under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter as they come up 1st and 10. Operating from the gun, Dalton. He gets this one to Boyd. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Out of the shotgun, they run with Mixon. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. Trying to get one more in here before the quarter breaks. And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back to Mixon on first down. And he'll take this inside the 30 to about the 29, maybe the 28-yard line. Tackle made by Everson Griffin. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete.
Oh, I like that right there. Not only was it the right play, throwing it away like that, frankly, I think it was the only play.
Yeah, got outside of the pocket, realized he had nothing, just chucked it free.
Yeah, live to fight another down, right?
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
I think he's taking an awful chance with the football right there. You've got to lead, you've got to protect it, and he's taking chances putting it out there in a little bit of jeopardy.
Especially in a spot like this, fourth quarter, as you said, trying to cling to that advantage.
Yeah, that one probably should have been picked, huh?
A big one there. That gives them a little cushion and makes it a two-score game.
Yeah, bled a little time off the clock, put some points on the board. It's not totally out of reach yet, but it has to feel pretty good to them right now because as a defender, you go out on the field and say, guess what? You can put some points on the board, but that won't beat us.
Charles, this one, not over, certainly, but you set the magic number earlier in this game at 20 points, said that they would need to hold them right around that marker under it. What are you seeing here?
Well, that number is still in play because we said
under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. J.J. Watt in there to get him sack number 14 for him on the year. So after the sack, here's 2nd and 14. Now Stidham off play action. He rifles one that's intercepted. William Jackson with a pick. And they will score a pick six for the Texans TD.
Now that was a beautiful play. A pick six. How would you punctuate something like that, partner?
What do you mean, with an exclamation mark?
Exclamation mark, a big word. What would you do with that?
Ampersand?
I like it.
Fairbairn now to add the extra point. And that one could be important as that makes this a 16-point lead. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Here's Cook as they begin on the ground. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
Switch gears.
Now a fake on the give here as they try to run pass option. That one into the hands of Thielen, complete. And they're able to get this one across the 35. Too far downfield, something those linemen have to watch out for, and that time it costs them. Cook following the penalty. They'll get a couple yards back, but not more than that. They'll be left with 12 yards to go on 3rd down. Not the start to the drive they were looking for. That run doesn't do much at all.
No, not at all, and it leaves them with 3rd and long. And you know, this is the time of game where these drives really start to matter. They got to make some moves.
Here's Stidham to throw. Going deep for Diggs. It got his man complete. Touchdown, Vikings. Stephon Diggs An 80-yard touchdown as they are able to cut into that lead. Here we go now as we get set for a big two-point conversion. Stidham. Rush coming, and he's taken down. A very pivotal two-point try that does not go their way now. It's a big uphill battle for the rest of the fourth quarter.
The attempt was to try and make it a one-score game, right? Touchdown, get two, now you've tied it up. Instead, they don't get it, still down 10.
Well, that certainly makes things more interesting. You get the score, then you get the onside kick. A little uphill battle still, but a start.
It's not mission accomplished, but the plan is working. They are in a great spot right now, and the best part, they put the defense right back out on the field after having already scored.
Yeah, they've got the momentum here now. Now, the first play of the drive there is incomplete.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. A 10th carry in the game for Cook. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield after a gain of about 4. That's a gain of 4 as we slip inside of 4 minutes left in regulation. The Vikings on 3rd down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. Now Stidham. And that will be incomplete.
And I think we'll probably see him go for it here on 4th down. No reason not to. Down a couple of scores, they have to try and make something good happen.
On the ready.
And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter. Let's see how this plays out.
Check out. Hey, wahoo! What? Hey, alert 3. Rock it.
Stidham going for it on 4th. Lets it fly for... This is caught inside the 15. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Adam Thielen with touchdown number 12 on the year, as they are now just an extra point away from making this a 3-point game. Extra point up and good by Bailey. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. A little less than 4 minutes remaining, and the margin for error is small with this slim lead. Operate within your 4-minute offense here, Charles?
Definitely. Remember, the 4-minute offense doesn't always correspond to what's up on the clock. What they need to do is play a little bit of keep away right now. Run the clock down. Make sure their opponent doesn't get the ball back. Their dream scenario, get enough first downs and make them eat up their timeouts so the game ends when you're kneeling down with the football.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. Dalton, 1st and 10. Now he's forced out left. He'll try and run it, and he'll slide down to avoid the tackle. A nifty bit of scrambling there. 12 yards, 1st down. Well, there you go. Save your best scramble of the day for a big-time situation in the 4th quarter, picking up the 1st.
You don't want to use it up early, right? You want to make sure you save it for that exact moment, that key time, and that's what he did, although you and I both know it wasn't planned that way. But what a nice job using his eyes, scanning the field, and realizing when it was time to exit the pocket and go.
On 1st down, Nixon. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask. The penalty moves him into the red zone here on 1st and 10. After the penalty, it's Mixon. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11. 3 points separating these two sides with 2 minutes left to go in the 4th. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. On 2nd and 11 now, Dalton.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps to have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
Now, this is a big 3rd down, and you'd have to think we'd see a timeout right away if they can't stop him here. Mixon with it. And he'll get inside the 10, but he's short of the line he needed. And now with 1:52 to go, we get another pause of the action. A timeout here defensively. So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. This is a 26-yard attempt. The kick by Fairbairn is good. And the drive will wind up yielding 3. So yet another field goal to end a drive. That has been a very common theme. He's now hit 5 of them in this game.
Yeah, Brandon, as an offense, you hate that you've had to call on your kicker so often, but you have to love the fact that time and time again, he's come through.
And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. We have seen a lot of points here in this quarter. For us up here in the booth, it's been fun to watch. The defensive coordinators probably scratching their heads.
Yeah, they're going a little bit crazy right now, but let's face it, all of our friends who play fantasy, they're enjoying the heck out of this show because most of them are creating and getting a bunch of points.
Yeah, points certainly not at a premium here. Again, it's Cook. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
Another carry for their leader, and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch a victory.
Following the good run by Cook, here's another 1st and 10. From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. Cook with a 1st down and much more. He gets it across the 50 and down to the 48. He'll get 15 and a Vikings 1st down. Probably had 60,000 thinking pass right there, including us in the booth.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was a big call, big guts on that one. And guess what? That run, it'll pay dividends.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. Stephon Diggs, his intended receiver. And now it's 2nd down. This defense has watched their lead dwindle away. This is where they really need to bow up. They executed well there.
And it's often hard after you've played really well early and then you kind of relax a little bit to step on the gas again. They just did it on the last play. Looks like they want to finish this one off.
Escaping the pressure right. And he's going to keep it here. The improv act there, good for 9, and now they'll be looking at a 3rd and short, 3rd and 1. Now the Vikings will use the 2nd of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 45 seconds left to go in the game. And the Texans have an extra defender in the secondary now on 3rd down. Stidham to throw it. Open man is Thielen. It's complete. And he's going to be taken down with another 1st down as the stop's made at the Texans' 27-yard line. He'll look to throw. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down. So he can't hang on, and as I watch that unfold, I remembered an expression that I've heard, maybe from you, I don't know, but you're going to get hit anyways, might as well hold on to the ball.
Right, you know a coach said that, right?
Yeah.
Not an actual player. Not a chance at all. Way easier said than done.
On 2nd down, it's Cook. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. The Vikings going to use their 3rd and final timeout, as they'll stop it with 13 seconds left to play. They come up on a 1st and goal and most likely 4-down territory as they need a touchdown and the PAT for the lead. And, oh, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off by Tashawn Gibson. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
The Texans take over first and 10.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And they've got this one in hand. No timeouts remaining defensively, so this one should just be one kneel and then handshakes.
It's a loss of a yard. Brings up second and 11.
So Houston going to come away here with the victory. And it wasn't really all